Welcome guys, and welcome to Vikendi Remastered. When you load into the new map, you immediately notice a heavy reduction in snow. It's spring and most of it is gone. This means that the color palette is changing towards a warmer and more colorful feel, which in my opinion is much more pleasing to the eye. But most importantly, when moving around in this outdoor environment, you'll be harder to spot, as you'll blend in better with the surroundings and will thereby have an easier time moving around on foot without constantly being attacked. This also makes the environment feel somewhat very authentic. The map has received a major overhaul to its terrain and overall terrain elevation, and this addition of a multitude of new hills and dips makes it much more inviting to fight on, as having smaller isolated fights seems easier. This also means that enemies could more easily appear out of nowhere though. Looking at the map, you'll notice blue lines and red squares. These indicates the new train routes and train stations. A total of 7 trains drive around the map, 3 trains per horizontal route, and a single train drives around the entire map. You can ride the train and you can jump aboard while it's moving. But be careful, as you might get yourself killed, which really sucks because at the moment you can't get revived while on the train and the train is moving. It is amazing fun to fight from the train, and the very big open windows makes it much easier to shoot, but also easier to get shot. The obvious question is, of course, what happens when the train crashes into something? I'll answer that question and have a little physics demonstration later in the video. Apart from the train, the main attraction is the new Dino Land. The old Dino Park is getting a massive expansion. The new Dino Land looks absolutely stunning and gives a perfect Pubg vibe despite being an amusement park. A very high attention to detail was prioritized here, and it really rewards the player with a super cool experience. I can't wait to drop here in my first solo game. The new roller coaster is huge, and it is even possible to climb on top of the volcano rock. All you gotta do is a few jumps and vaults. Then jump onto the roller coaster and start running. Soon you'll find yourself in an absolutely insane sniper position. Just be careful you don't fall down. The Abbey has been moved to the top of Mount Kresnik. That certainly does not look that high anymore. I also really like this train yard, but my first impression is that the loot here ain't that good, so fighting here will probably be rare. The map has also had an overall big reduction in buildings and even cities. This is where Movatra used to be, and this used to be Tovar. While the map is still very recognizable, it has received many minor changes and received a ton of love from the map designers with a ton of small details that again makes the map feel more authentic and inviting. I'm not really missing all the snow. It's still there but in smaller patches, and therefore you no longer need snowmobiles. And I can't find any either. But why would you need snowmobiles anyways when you have trains? Because now let's move to the thing I know you want to see: train physics. First of all, a warning: don't try to drive a bike on the train, and if you do, don't get off, because when you get off the bike, weird things happen and it could crush you. Now, what happens if the train hits an airdrop? Nothing. The train clips right through it. What happens if the train hits a big pile of airdrops? Nothing. Again, the train just clips right through it. But if you are a passenger, you can get crushed by the airdrops, which makes this fun little minigame possible. Pubg Subway Surfers. So what happens if the train hits a car? Not much really. The car gets pushed away, and when I checked the status of the car, it didn't take any damage in any of the single car tests I did. But what about a big chunk of vehicles? Now that was a different story and much more fun. The train has some strange physics and it is impossible to stop. Vehicles on top of the train will stick to it and get the same kind of physics. Weird. To demonstrate how tough this train really is, let's put about 80 BRDMs in front of it. This has a weight of about 500,000 kilograms. So I guess the moral of the story here is, when the train comes, don't be in its way. Vikendi version 2 is coming. Pubg has already said that no map will be removed when it comes back, meaning we will have 5 maps in the queue. For regions that still have map selection, this means they will have 31 different queues, and therefore I expect changes coming to map selection for the map selection regions. But we'll have to wait and see what they'll do. For now, I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.